All right, folks, Station Captain here again. Let's talk straight. Right here, right now, Sunday evening, April of 2025. We're heading into that time of year again in Glendale, and we need a reality check about our most predictable, relentless threat. That brutal Arizona heat, tangled up with a very real possibility of power outages. Forget thinking if it will get dangerously hot. That's a guarantee. We know we'll see stretches of 110, 115 degrees or more. The real kicker is when that heat coincides with stress on our power grid. Think about it. Everyone blasting the AC, businesses running full tilt. That grid gets strained. Sometimes it fails. Sometimes it's a localized transformer blowing. Sometimes it's a wider issue. Let me be blunt. A few hours without power when it's 115 outside is darn uncomfortable. A few days without AC isn't just miserable, it's downright dangerous. I've been on those calls. Heat exhaustion turning rapidly into life-threatening heat stroke. Folks relying on electrically powered medical devices suddenly finding themselves in a crisis. Refrigerators full of food spoiling, making a bad situation even tougher. I recall one incident a couple of summers ago. Major substation failure during a peak heat wave. We were responding to multiple heat-related medical calls simultaneously. One sticks out. A family with young kids in an upstairs apartment. No cross breeze. Temperatures inside climbing past 100. They had no extra water stored, no battery-operated fans, no plan for where to go. Just sheer panic and physical distress. Contrast that with a call down the street. An elderly couple, also without power, but they had a designated cool room prepared, lower level, windows covered, battery fans running, plenty of water, and a plan to check in with neighbors. They were uncomfortable, yes, but they were safe and managing because they had thought ahead. This combination, extreme heat and grid vulnerability, is our most likely large-scale emergency scenario here in the Valley. So let's put it out there for discussion. Get yourself thinking. What's your number one concern if the power grid goes down for, say, 48 hours during a major heat wave in July? Really think about that. What worries you most for your household? Now, while that's our specific reality check here in Glendale, let's zoom out for a minute. Because the core message, being prepared for predictable threats, isn't unique to Arizona. Every corner of this country faces its own version of when, not if, weather emergencies. The specifics change, but the need for readiness doesn't. Head down to the Gulf Coast or the eastern seaboard. Their predictable threat? Hurricanes. They deal with potentially catastrophic storm surge wiping out coastal areas, winds that can peel roofs off of buildings like tin cans, and torrential rainfall causing widespread inland flooding long after the storm passes. And what's almost guaranteed with a major hurricane hit? Widespread, long-duration power outages affecting millions. Imagine our heat grid problem, but add 100-plus mile-per-hour winds and feet of water. Preparedness there means evacuation plans, securing homes, and having supplies to last potentially weeks without power or easy access to stores. Shift gears to the Midwest, the Plains, part of the South, Tornado Alley. Their when, if not, involves incredibly violent, fast-forming tornadoes that can obliterate entire neighborhoods in minutes. There's often little warning time. Preparedness there is about having a designated safe room or storm shelter, emergency alerts programmed, and a go kit ready because your home might simply cease to exist in the blink of an eye. Power loss is a given in the damage path, alongside total destruction of roads and infrastructure. Go up to the Northeast or the upper Midwest in winter. Their recurring nightmare? Feet of snow paralyzing transportation, or thick coatings of ice snapping tree limbs and power lines like twigs. They face prolonged power outages too, but instead of deadly heat, it's deadly cold. Hypothermia becomes the major risk. Preparedness means having safe alternative heating sources and knowing how to use them without causing carbon monoxide poisoning. Extra blankets, food that doesn't require cooking, and maybe even a generator, just like some folks need here for the heat. Out west, including parts of our own state, and especially California, wildfires are the blooming threat, often fueled by drought and wind. These fires can move incredibly fast, forcing sudden evacuations. The danger isn't just the flames, but the choking smoke blanketing huge areas. Increasingly, utility companies preemptively shut off power during high-risk fire weather to prevent their equipment from sparking a blaze. So power outages happen without the storm, adding another layer of complexity. Readiness there means defensible spaces around homes, evacuation plans, air purifiers, and go bags packed well before the fire season. See the pattern? Whether it's heat waves in Phoenix, hurricanes in Florida, tornadoes in Oklahoma, blizzards in Maine, or wildfires in California, different hazards, different seasons, but similar consequences. The potential need to shelter in place or evacuate quickly. The critical needs for households to be self-sufficient for at least a few days. That mindset shift we talked about, preparedness being responsibility, it applies everywhere. When people are prepared, they reduce the strain on first responders, allowing us to focus on the most critical incidents. Whether that's a rescue during a flood, or reaching someone having a medical emergency when roads are blocked. So circling back to us, here in Glendale, our most predictable dance partner is that intense summer heat and what it does to our power grid. Don't underestimate it. Thinking about that question, your number one concern during a hot weather blackout, is the first step. The next step is doing something small about it. Maybe it's buying extra batteries for fans. Maybe it's stocking up on a few extra gallons of water on your next grocery run. Maybe it's talking with your family about where you'll go if your home becomes unbearable. Forget if. Think when. Prepare accordingly. It's not about fear. It's about taking control and being ready for our reality. And remember, as always, stay safe out there.